No, just
Hey, welcome back to the Blue Collar Off-Road Podcast, episode 97 and a half. We apologize for not having anything out last week. We had a pretty nice episode lined up with some really cool dudes, and we went to edit, and the recording was junk. Uh, there's really nothing more to say about it. Unfortunately, it was I thought one of our better episodes, but it just didn't work out. So unfortunately, Luke's been pretty busy trying to figure out all of his shit for our Good Evening Ranch trip, which is fast approaching. And we didn't have a backup. It was sort of just hit with a whirlwind of worst possible scenarios all the way around. Usually we have two recordings. That week we only had one. So unfortunately, it is what it is. We apologize for our lack of episode
yeah.
last week. I know a bunch of people were mad, or not mad, but I guess sad, maybe mad. Maybe JB was probably mad, but
I got some pretty hateful texts saying that we're trash. Saying that we have one job and we couldn't even do that.
yeah, we did. We really
Definitely
did drop the ball.
rough comment.
We
It's upsetting because like the whole episode was great, but there was a line, like a good 2 minute just monologue from one of the guests. I don't know if will we share the guest who was going to be on or not. Either way, one of the guests had a really good like inspirational thing he said. It was actually like one of the most genuine things I've heard on this podcast, and it's just trash. Like it was kind of my call to say that the episode was scrapped, and I just couldn't release it. It sounded so terrible. It sounded like the mic was at the end of a cave and we were talking at the mouth of it. Like it was bad. Sadly.
Although you really hit the nail on the head, Cody, with that being probably one of the best things to ever be said on the nearly 100 episodes that we've done.
Yeah.
yeah,
It
was
is
solid.
upsetting.
That shit made me feel good.
He'll be happy to hear that. Yeah, he listens. I forgot. But yeah, we're hoping to not have that happen again. I mean, we're trying to get better with every episode, and I mean, we're still trash, so don't expect too much. But yeah, we're sorry. All said and done, we're sorry.
Yep. We will try to have both those guys were super interesting. I mean, honestly, I think I know. I'm just gonna fucking say it. We hit Sam Naked and Afraid had wet feet about coming on. He wouldn't come on without his plasma daddy. So we had them both on, and honestly, both those guys could be an episode by themselves. I know Sam was kind of iffy about whether he could do that, and we've had a bunch of people. Surprisingly, there's a lot of really humble people out there who are really fucking cool, and just don't want to talk about it, and it's sad sometimes. So
Yeah.
I think we'll try to get them both on either together or separate. We'll figure out what the plan is. Obviously,
Probably do separate,
yeah.
sadly.
It's tough to get people to, especially when you've got two guests from two different parts of the country in different states. Trying to meet up with us, all of us in different fucking areas. It just doesn't know. It's a miracle we record anything at all. So.
True. Fucking true.
So
it's a miracle anything gets done, really.
if we can make the stars align again with all six of us, we will try. Otherwise, definitely expect to see those guys on as separate guests in the future. I think they both definitely warrant their own episode if they would like to do so. And hell, I mean, Cody, maybe we take that monologue and put it in a post just because it'll never be recreated, and it was absolutely beautiful. I don't know if we just post that on Instagram or something, and with a picture of.
What we could do? We could. So I have this picture of Sam standing in the middle of AOP holding a beer, and he's just rocking out. I could take that and then over effect an American flag waving, and then put his monologue in. I think that'd be pretty sick.
I think that
would be amazing.
That might be the only way we can memorialize it. So I don't know. We'll play around with that. it definitely deserves to be heard or read or whatever the fuck we end up doing with it.
Yeah.
I guess we should probably talk to Sam and make sure he consents to us using his monologue. But other than that, uh,
Oh
yeah.
no, he signed the consent form before the podcast. We're good. We can dub over anything we want to make him sound as ridiculous as possible. He signed the form.
Poor dude.
But
But
yeah, sad stuff. But
yep.
moving forwards. What's new on the old docket for everybody? What's happening lately?
Well, I'll go first. We've been chugging along. I know nobody's heard about the green thing in a minute. It's not that I've forgotten about it or I don't want to be working on it, although I am sad that I didn't finish it in time, as we've already covered. I had a guy bugging me about working on his YJ for since probably like when we first pulled the green one in, and I told him, I'd kept pushing him back because like, hey, I need to finish this green buggy thing. I'm trying to get this done by this date. After that, we'll pull you in. Obviously, I messed up the green buggy date, but I'd still been talking to this dude, and I didn't want to push him off anymore. Just
Hmm.
you start feeling bad when you're like, oh yeah, I'll do it here, I'll do it then, and then your timeline gets pushed back, and it's like, fuck, well, now I can't do it now. So I finally had to draw a line and be like, okay, bring it in, we'll work on it, and get things squared away for you. So the buggy has been put on the side for now. I'm still doing little things here and there to it, but I haven't had a ton of time to like fully dig into it to finish what we need. I'm hoping I probably won't have a ton of time next week because I'll be prepping my Jeep for Good Evening. I've got a bunch of crap to fix on that, which we'll get to. Maybe, I don't know, it's nothing crazy, other than a 4-link, but I'm not doing a 4-link before Good Evening.
Why not?
Because first off, I have no parts, and I don't want to do it yet. So
Himes
we'll,
alone will cost him 18
oh
grand,
no, I have half the Heims because I didn't end up Sean didn't end up using all of them on his. He didn't need to, so I have saved the cost for him, and I've since purchased them from him. So I technically have a bunch of Heims. Probably not enough. I'd still need a few more, but that is like one piece of the puzzle. I have one part. Um, but anyways, back to I'll just skim over what we're doing on this YJ. It came in. It was close to done. He needed shocks and shock mounts because the axles are, I think it's got a 44 front and an 8 1/4 rear, or sorry, 8 rear. Um, so we threw shock tabs on that, cleaned up the axles a little bit. There were some older tabs that were just left over on it that we cleaned up and removed. Um, it's got the Moto-Built boat side um, armor on it, which is pretty slick
Oh,
stuff. I mean, it's a nice looking Jeep,
yeah.
but the from what I understand, it was one of the first Moto-Built boat side YJ kits, so there wasn't a lot of instructions on how to cut, and they didn't at the time sell the
Oh
internal
God.
floor panel to like clean up the edge because you cut the body, like you're cutting the corner of the body of the tub
Oh
off.
shit.
The corner of the
Huh.
tub goes away, and you put this boat
Re-
side armor on, and that sort of clamps it all down.
I
Um,
respect his commitment level. That if it's cutting into the body, goddamn.
yeah, so I mean, it was hacked up a little bit, and I should have told him to buy the Moto built like patch panel, I guess you can call it, that runs the whole side, but uh, I mean, I don't work on Wranglers very often, so I didn't know the Moto built catalog. I didn't realize they made the thing. Should have just told him to buy it, and we would have welded it in. But we didn't do that. He needed a floor pan anyways on the driver's side, typical YJ shit. So
Uh-huh.
we put a floor pan in and just fixed up the floors, on the boat side and sort of, where it was rotting in the tub close by. It's not really too bad other than the spots that we fixed. There's like a little bit of rot here and there, but for a YJ, the frame is really fucking clean for what it is.
Which is
Um,
surprising alone.
yeah, and we were actually talking about that yesterday. He was like, "Yeah, I was gonna seal the holes up." I was like, "Well, you shouldn't seal the holes up because then water can't get out." Uh, but then he was like, "Well, it doesn't matter anyways because there's no holes in the bottom, so it just sits in there." And I was like, shit,
Oh,
you're right. So that's why I didn't. I know TJs were bad, and I didn't. I guess it makes sense that YJs would have the same problem. You'd think they'd learn after how many fucking vehicles? Because I'm pretty sure the YJ frame and the CJ frame is very similar. To put some fucking holes in the
almost
bottom.
exactly the same.
All right. Yeah, you'd think they'd put holes
Yeah.
in the bottom to actually drain it. The off-road vehicle that is probably going to see water and mud and gross stuff inside the frame. Yeah, it doesn't need drain holes. just
No,
let it
God,
fill
no.
up.
That's
Never.
Pack that shit full of dirt. Yeah.
making it lighter. That's not American. Come on, Graham.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But that's been a fun change of pace. We've been doing other little stuff on it. We're throwing an e-brake in it. He wanted an e-brake. It didn't have, and he wants it. He wanted a lever versus the foot panel thing. Um, just preference, I guess, and I think we'll make it
That's
work.
odd.
Yeah, it's a little unique, but we'll take it.
That's
I'll
a
take the
very
challenge.
odd request. I mean, how would you even start that process?
Well, what we're doing is we're using a KJ e-brake because
Okay.
the KJ e-brake,
What the fuck's a KJ?
Jeep Liberty.
KJ's Liberty.
Oh, gotcha.
Richie, I'm sure like half the people listening were like, "What the fuck is a KJ?" as well. So you're not wrong. Or you're
Good
not wrong in
question. Good
asking that.
question.
Good question. Keep them coming.
I wasn't concerned about a stupid question. I genuinely did not know.
We talked to a guy with a KJ, but it's fine, Richie. I don't know where
I
you were,
wasn't
but
here for that episode.
oh,
Oh, were you
really?
not?
I'm just a piece of shit. I'm
No,
sorry, buddy.
fucking talking shit and you don't even know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so we have the Jeep Liberty handle, which is actually pretty nice. It's got 4 bolts. We'll be able to bolt it to the floor with those. Um, the actual e-brake cable, the equalizer is right at the end, and from I've played around with it, and I'm 90% sure that the adjuster on that e-brake is actually in the handle. Like you know how normally in like a Cherokee or something, you've got that stupid nut that you've got to crank to like
Yeah.
tighten the equalizer up if you actually want tight e-brakes when you put new cables and shit in. Not that anybody does, everybody
Uh-huh.
just cuts them out. But
Yep.
if you do actually want one, a lot of e-brakes work like that with those things. And maybe new cars are mostly like this, but I don't know. I'd never seen one before. I guess I'm not.
Well, KJs are disc rear, right?
Yes.
So it makes sense for the adjustment to be off of the or not inside that because
No,
it
no,
kind
no.
of
I mean, it still probably has an adjuster nut in there. I'm just saying the equalizer, like to
oh.
equalize the two ends. And there's an adjustment
Oh,
for the
gotcha, gotcha.
there's adjustment for the
Yeah.
slack on the cable, and that's always at this middle joint right near the equalizer, usually on the single line that comes out. But since the KJ one is so short, because it goes in the trans tunnel, and I guess the lines just go to either end of the axle in the back, um, it's kind of neat because the handle itself has the adjuster. It's self-adjusting. There's a big ass
Huh.
spring on the handle that'll wrap the cable into a certain length, but it must be connected with some mechanism. So when you pull it, it locks it. So it'll tighten itself so it's taut but not tight, and then you pull the handle and it tightens. And you put it down and it doesn't stay tight because it's, that at that point I think it's mechanically connected, but the spring will pull in all the slack. So you've got probably about 6 inches worth of adjustment just out of this lever itself. Because we were looking at he got an e-brake kit that we were going to throw on, just one of the generic aftermarket ones to adapt everything to work. You usually would use an aftermarket handle for that, but we don't even need the equalizer bit and the adjuster on that because the thing does it itself. We'll just be able to take the e-brake lines, trim them to what they need to be lengthwise, and then throw it on this KJ e-brake and call it a day. Kind of funky, weird tech, but
Huh.
uh, you know.
So what made you go with the KJ? Was it just luck that there was one laying around, or is this
Well,
something that he
I
researched, or?
when we were talking initially about the whole project and the e-brake and all that, I think he had mentioned it, and I have actually, I mean, I dealt with the e-brake. I knew that the equalizer was right there at the very back of the e-brake lever because way back when I pulled an axle out of a Liberty for the disc brakes on the 8 1/4. That plan never came into fruition, but
I thought they
I
said
did.
44s in the rear, like 44 Cs or something like
No, no,
that. Or is
no.
it the
That's
eight and
that's
quarter
the
Cs?
those are the Grand Wagoneers that have those.
Oh,
Yep,
okay. I didn't
the
know
the
that.
aluminum ones, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
no, these
yeah.
no Liberties are weird because they've got the 8 1/4. I remember we talked about this all in the on the KJ episode. We talked
No,
about
I
like
wasn't here. What are you talking
you
about?
weren't there for
Right,
the KJ
Richie? No,
episode.
we were. I
You
was pulling a
fucker.
Richie.
Uh, uh,
Don't confuse me like that, man.
I mean, they're so funky because they have like some really like pretty desirable like manual parts, and like the rear axle is a disc brake 8 1/4 with coil springs, I'm pretty sure, and that weird like Y
Relink.
link,
Yeah, Y-Link, pardon me. Yeah.
like some pretty nifty parts. Like if I was gonna do a stock Jeep swap and like change things up, I might pull a KJ axle. I don't know what the downsides are. I'm sure there's something, but I mean like
I think they're short. I
the
think they're narrow, but I could be totally
maybe,
wrong.
but
That's just me
they
guessing.
make spacers for a reason. So
Fair.
yeah, I
Fair
don't know.
enough.
But anyways, that's my KJ Tech e-brake thing. But yeah, other than that, I mean it's what else we doing? I mean the floor pans and the shocks and that alone. Just some other little like tidying up bullshit. His pitman arm was like walking around, so we changed that out, put a new pitman on it, or put a used pitman that I had. If I didn't have a spare Cherokee pitman arm floating around, I don't even know if I could call myself a Cherokee person. But
I had
uh,
one. Should have called me.
yeah, well, I had one too, so we just used that one. Now it's nice. Drilled that puppy out. He's got some pretty nice aluminum steering on it already. It'll be nice. I'm excited to see how it drives. He hasn't driven it in quite a while. He was it's sort of been on and off project that he's had, and he had some people working on it. He's been working on it, and he just needed somebody to do the finish welding and stuff on it. So hopefully that's done probably tomorrow night. I'm hoping. There's really not much left to
Oh
do.
yeah.
Just bleed the brakes and run those e-brake stuff or e-brake lines and mount it, which is don't expect to take me too long. But that's what's been taking up all my time. Which is all nice, but I do need to work on mine. But I'll leave an intermission on my bullshit. Who wants to talk about something dumb?
It'll get done the night before. We know that.
I know we don't even need to. Don't
Well,
even get me
that's
started.
part of the reason why I've been trying to low key hint to Graham that I will happily get my ass up to his place whenever he wants me
Oh,
to for
perfect free
next week.
labor.
Just
You ready
that
to
way I
work till we fucking leave in the morning? Yeah, me too.
yeah. I was even telling that to my dad. That fucking you're like the definition of a minute person,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I
Jacob,
won't be surprised if we're working on the Jeep until it gets loaded on the trailer.
yeah. And Jacob has already told me that he will not be helping me
Till 5 in
past
the
two
morning
o'clock.
again.
He said
Oh, that's
he
good.
said he said I don't care if the tire's not on. I don't care if all I have to do is bolt the tire on. Like I'm done. I'm just walking away. Like so I was like okay, that's fair enough. But I mean he's helped me every fucking time, so I don't blame him for drawing the line and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna leave. 'Cause I mean, he almost has it rougher than I do sometimes. We'll be there till 5 in the morning, and then I'll go and drive my sleepy ass to wherever the fuck we're going, and he's got to drive 2 hours home. Like, blah. I
Two
don't know.
hours?
Yeah, more than that.
Why does he just sleep at the shop?
He doesn't have a hammock, I guess. I don't know. He could rent mine. $10 an hour.
That sounds terrible. He
Bucks
was.
an hour.
Hold on. So you're telling me. Wait a second. So the night that you guys stayed up until like 5 a.m. working on Sean's,
Most
he
times.
then had to drive 2 hours home?
Yep. Kid's an animal.
What?
Yeah, you didn't. You definitely knew this. You're just not paying attention. You probably weren't there for that episode
Pro-
either.
No, I knew that he had to drive. I just didn't think it was 2 hours. Like I just finally put it in perspective in my head. Like holy shit,
Yes, sir.
that's a far
He drives
ride.
quite a bit. So, uh, love him.
So,
Gotta help him
how
get that red
often
shit
does
box
he
ready.
actually come down to the shop?
He's there pretty often, a couple times a week. He's got other
And his little
priorities up in his.
renegade.
Yeah, he's got other priorities up where he's at in Maine, but he makes it down pretty frequently for the distance and drive, and you know,
Huh.
just to help get things done. So,
Wow, I'm impressed.
Yeah, no, it's something, all right. I can't give him enough credit. Okay, do we want to talk about me not doing a four link now? I guess since
Sure, yeah, get into it.
nobody else has anything to add. I was trying to give you guys a chance to stop me from just going on and on for another hour, but um, yeah, I guess we'll go into that. I got a bunch of shit from all the cool kids with four links. They're like, you should just put a four link in and be done with it. I was like, yes, of course that's what I would like to do, but at the same time, I wheel more than 2 times a year, Curtis, and I literally like, just finished dealing with my fucking front end. I kind of wanted it to just work, and I don't really want to have to put it down for another 4 months of hating myself and my wallet hating me,
Well,
trying
that's
to
what
get the
winter's
rear
for.
done. Hmm?
That's what
I
winter's for,
kind of
so
want
you
to do
can.
like winter wheeling for once. I like kind of want to not just like have my Jeep sit without an axle or something like critical underneath it, so I can actually enjoy like a season of winter wheeling with the thing. Because
Overrated.
it's been several years. I know it's overrated,
Yeah,
but it's
it's
still fun. Like,
Battlegrounds was the last time I went snow wheeling.
yeah, and it was fun. It was a ton of
It was a lot of
fun.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Richie blew his radiator.
I was just gonna say fun for some people.
Yeah, we'll just
Dude,
carry a
you
spare
had a
radiator.
great time.
Oh yeah, you were smiling the whole time you were swapping that stupid thing out. And you even brought a spare. You're like, haha, good thing we brought the spare.
I did not bring a spare that time.
I thought you had.
Oh, what?
Nope.
Oh, I thought you had the spare
What?
one. Oh man, you just made my story
Nope.
way less funny.
That is the incident that made me start bringing spare radiators.
Well, luckily you trailered it on Luke's trailer that day,
Yeah,
so
that's
that's
what it was. You
nice.
Yeah,
trailered it.
that's what it was a last minute decision by Luke. He kind of overrid my decision of driving. Uh, is what made me get home.
I mean, that being
Good.
said, you can swap one of those radiators in like 15 minutes. It's really not too
Oh
bad.
God, if that.
Yeah, easy. So, I mean, that would have
Never had
been.
to do one because I don't have radiator issues.
I don't either, but I
No, I'm
blew
just
one
kidding.
up at we were literally buying a fucking. Oh, this is when we were buying the Jeep we used to. I don't know if I've told this story. We bought the Jeep to put my transmission in my Jeep. It was a '89 two-door Cherokee painted like OD green with the back chopped off, like kind of like the green buggy,
Oh
kind
god.
of like Sean's green buggy. Um, yeah, and it was on the road. It had 35s, old body style. Like I said, I think it was is 89 or something like that. It was like right on the cusp of
Oh,
having
that's
the
the
AX.
old body.
Yeah, it was right on the cusp of
Yeah.
having the AX15 or the Peugeot. And I remember being very scared when I bought it off my buddy for like $300 and was like, shit, did I just buy or the Jeep with the like shitty transmission that nobody
Peugeot
wants?
transmission.
I was very worried. Um, but yeah, we we drove my Jeep down to get it, and we bought it right there. I didn't spend that much on it. And then the first thing Dave does after he gets the keys, he's like, "Okay, where's the closest trail? Like, I want to go test it." So we went to like this like little dirt road thing almost, and somehow I popped my fucking radiator. Uh,
I think there's a
fortunately,
picture of this moment, isn't
yes,
there?
yes, there is.
One?
Not of the
Yeah, I've
radiator
seen.
popping, but of the rate of the Jeep being of the radiator being swapped.
Yes, yeah,
Because
yeah,
fortunately, the new Jeep came with a spare radiator. So
yeah.
we just put
What?
the spare radiator went in my Jeep, and then we drove home. And then that Jeep was that thing was fucking hilarious. I loved it. It had a no, it didn't even have a push button. He was using 3 wires to start it. He had the starter, ignition, and power wire. So he'd twist the starter or the power and the ignition together, and then tap the starter wire on where he had twisted the other two together to start the thing and keep it running.
Oh my
Um,
fucking god.
yeah, he drove it through Salem as it was, with a helmet on because why not? multiple
What
times.
the
Never got in
fuck?
trouble. It was I don't know, it was a surreal time of my life. Those days. We bought some stupid shit, and would just drive it around, and it would not even close to looking legal, and never got shit for it. Like we're talking like it didn't have like a back, like there was no fabrication done to this thing. It was just chopped. Like just half a roof,
Oh
the back like
no.
a little truck bed, and no tailgate. So you're just like looking straight through, like to the back seats. It was the stupidest thing ever, but it was
And this was Pizza
hilarious.
Slot's old Jeep, right?
Yeah, this was Pizza Slave's Jeep. This is
A
Dave.
slave, not slut.
Yeah, that thing was a good time. Eventually he. Oh, and I think the windshield was cracked too. I forget. It had a big old smashed. I don't know. Maybe that was me. Maybe I was trying to take the windshield out and I had to smash it up. I don't
Oh
remember.
Jesus.
But yeah, either way, I bought the thing from him. After there was some drama between his buddy buying it because he or something like that, and then he realized that it wasn't even close to daily drivable. Not that it couldn't. Dave was doing it. Dave was driving the thing everywhere, but this kid was too scared to. So, and I ended up somehow acquiring it for like 400 bucks. I parked it in my parents' driveway without, I don't even think I gave them much of a. Maybe I did. I think I kind of had to schmooze them over a little bit. No way you can just part out a shit box like that without like getting some sort of confirmation. So I was like, Mom, Dad, I'm gonna make it quick. I'm just gonna take this thing apart. I want the transmission and the swap parts so I can put it in mine. I've got pictures of it sitting without any axles or anything in my parents' driveway.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah,
I have been
it
there.
was a good time. Pulled that all out. Fortunately, it is like the very beginning of the AX15s. 89 was like the first year you got an AX15 instead of a Peugeot. Uh,
Oh God.
yeah, and that's the transmission I run. I still run that thing.
I
Uh,
Oh no,
had it. I had a 99 six or not 6 speed. Pardon me. Standard. I think it was a 4 speed. I have no
a
idea. I don't
four
even remember
speed?
now.
They didn't make four
Five
speeds for
speed. I
Cherokees.
don't know, dude. What came in the 99s? There was like some special transmission.
The 2000s up and maybe the 99s had the NV 3550.
Yeah, I think that was the one because I know that the day that I sold it, that's exactly what the kid came to buy it for. He bought it for 15. I bought it for 700. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm buying this just for the transmission." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense. Just a standard swap." He goes, "No, this is like a special kind, blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "Fuck." I'm like, "Why'd you tell me this? Now I don't want to sell it to
Yeah,
you."
no,
Like,
they're nothing too special. They're I think there's like pros and cons to them. I've never really heard of either of them having problems
is that the one
one or
that
the
needs like
other.
special transmission fluid to shift
No,
well or
they
something?
both do. They're both supposed to not just not GL5. That's the only thing I'm pretty sure is just otherwise it eats away at the uh what the fuck are they called? I don't know why I can't think right now. Synchros. But, realistically, with the way I shift, it probably doesn't matter. Um,
Can't find them, grind them.
yeah, they're getting ground down every time, I'm sure. Especially that second gear one. That one's a little low. I should probably swap that one. Uh, but yeah, so I swapped that thing in, and that was a whole nother mess because that's 89 pedals in my Jeep, which is the later body style, right? So it's not the same pedal assembly at all. We machined a pilot bushing because there's a difference between the old style and the new style input shafts on those transmissions. We machined it down with a drill. We put it we put
Oh,
a
I wouldn't expect
bolt.
anything less,
Oh, I
honestly.
know, I know. We put a typical like shitty. I'm not even gonna say redneck because I was living in fucking Marblehead, but like drill lathe thing with a bench grinder and a drill, and we turned both and made it grind away, and it wasn't straight or it wasn't circular at all, but it fit the hole, and nothing blew up. Eventually, I discovered that you could buy the Novak adapter, which does the exact thing you're looking for like $7. So I've since swapped it, but it didn't break. I mean, we just put in an O'Reilly's an oversized bushing with the right input shaft size, and then ground it
Oh my
down to
God.
fit, and it worked. Didn't really care. Um, I don't know if that's why it makes that like I can't even describe the sound like
The clunk.
the clunking sound it does. It's not clunking, it's more like a whirring, but only when it's like shifted weird. I don't know. It's got to be the clutch or something. I don't think that's related, but it's always made a funky noise. Since I swapped it in, it's made that fucking noise. And I've rebuilt it multiple times with new bearings and shit. Like, I don't know where that noise is coming from. I have no idea. But did all that work. This goes back into the transmission swap, right? Well, it was a pain in the ass, but it wasn't too bad. Um, okay. I'm almost done with this
Oh, you're
complete
good at.
tangent, but
No, it's great. I was listening. It was a fun story.
so
I don't
to
know.
get rid of the chassis, we stripped everything out, and like we literally just had like the sheet metal of a Cherokee body. That's all we had. Uh,
Half of it because it was chopped.
I guess, yeah. Yeah, but it still had like the full length. It was a full length Cherokee. Now we measured this Cherokee. It is 13 feet, and we figured if we got a 15-foot U-Haul box truck, we could
Oh
put the
God.
Cherokee in the U-Haul box truck and transport it to wherever we needed the body to go.
How the fuck are you gonna get it in there?
It's really not that heavy. We picked it up with four people.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
so um, the plan was to bring it to Dave's dad's house. I don't know why he wanted the body, but he wanted the body. Oh no, he was planning on rebuilding it at some point. He was like past the point of wanting to sell it and was like, "Shit, I want it back." But I was like, "I already have it like all the way apart. Like it can't come back." Um, so he wanted the body. He was dead set on having the body. So I was like, "Okay, well, let me get a 15-foot U-Haul box truck, and we'll put it in there, and you can bring it to your dad's, and when you're ready to build it, you can build it." Uh, well, U-Haul lies, and their 15-foot box trucks are only 12 and a half feet long.
Oh my God. What did you chop the
So
nose off the
no, so we
thing?
couldn't close the door, and so we just didn't close the door. Um,
Did you
we
strap it down?
there's no place to strap it on the inside, but we
Oh
it didn't
my
fall
God.
out. But yeah, so we drove it through like two towns over, through all those bumpy roads. If you come to Salem, you'd know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. The roads are abysmal, and it didn't
Yeah, they're
fall out.
pretty bad.
So like worse than like most people complain about roads. Like we got road problems. Like you hit bumps, and sometimes it's worse than a class six. Sometimes you don't always see them, but yeah, we brought it over there, yanked it out, put it in his dad's backyard, and I think it sat there for about 3 years before his dad was like, "You need to get this thing the fuck out of here." So I think it's gone now. It's gone for good.
Rip.
But the memories remain. It was it was probably one of my favorite ship boxes. Like I don't think I've seen one that really compares to the level of like garbage that this thing was. I'm sure there are, but like nobody talks about them. Those are the fun ones.
So, did he paint this thing OD green or no?
No, no, no. Actually, oh, I didn't even get to that part. It was OD green, and then Dave painted it like monkey shit camo and OD OD green was the
Oh
base layer for
God.
monkey shit camo, so it got a camo paint
Monkey
job.
shit
It
camo.
was like three different colors of brown, and then OD green is the base layer, like with some showing through. I was like, Dave, why did you do that? It looked so cool before. But it was his Jeep. He can do what he wants with it. He painted it. Uh, it didn't look. It looked bad, but it could have been worse. It could have looked much worse.
Monkey shit green. I was
Yeah,
still trying to envision that in my head.
yeah, it was gross. It's kind of like Jacob's brown truck's monkey shit brown. I don't know. Every brown color is just monkey shit. Like I don't know. Brown cars worse than silver cars. Um, who the fuck
But I
buys
guess
a
every
brown
shit could
car?
be brown. Okay, well, first off, Chevy has a really nice champagne color that I do enjoy, but it's not really brown, it's champagne, so it's more of a tan.
Oh, here. I guess gold doesn't count. Brown. Like I'm talking straight up brown or tan for that matter.
Okay,
Nasty.
well, first off, Toyota has a tan Tacoma that is quite nice. It's kind of a brown, and it looks good.
Oh, I guess like
And
desert color. Like I don't know, but that's like very
Humvees are
specific.
tan.
Yeah, I know that's. I don't know. Yeah, but like I
Yep.
wouldn't choose. I'd be like, see that brown car? I want that one. I don't know.
Imagine buying a yellow vehicle. Ugh, couldn't be me.
Yeah, yeah. Just drive around in my fucking dandelion.
You have a yellow vehicle.
I know,
What do
I
you
know,
mean?
I know. I fucking hate yellow too, by the way. I really don't like
Really?
yellow. No, I'm not a fan of yellow or silver, really. I only have the track.
Wait, what?
No, I don't like
You're
any of the. I don't like colors. The truck is my favorite. I like it because it's not.
because
It's just
black.
black. It's normal.
Same. I like my Jeep, my truck for that. They're just plain colors.
Yeah, I don't know. White's kind of. I couldn't do white. I couldn't do. I mean, I could do white. I say that. I'm just overly picky. I just like to shit on things until I have it, and then I'm not
Then
gonna
why
shit
don't
on
you
it.
like brown if you like shitting on things?
Because that's not the same. Uh,
Because it's not monkey shit. Got it.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I only monkey shit, specifically monkey shit brown. Um, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's enough of me criticizing colors. Tell me what your least favorite color is in the next podcast post, whatever it is. Um,
Hopefully, it'll just be a picture of a monkey shitting.
that'd be, no, I mean, that'd be acceptable.
Or
Too
we could
bad
do
you
like
can't.
the Super Troopers monkey. That'd be pretty funny. You know what I was talking about? Tell me you know that
No, I
reference.
don't. I don't.
So in the movie Super Troopers, the like group that was like trafficking drugs through Vermont had like this like monkey like holding a banana between his legs and like it like squished it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's what made me think of
Okay,
that.
okay. Yeah, that didn't describe it at all, but I'll take your word for it.
I promise.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google it.
Oh God. Um,
Google it, bitch.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm sad for the vehicles that I've had that I've sold. So I get Dave's remorse.
yeah, you've had a bunch. You and Dave were probably very similar. I feel like
Oh
your
yeah.
period of like owning shit boxes. I mean, it basically was because Jacob met you inadvertently trying to sell that fucking black one to your buddy.
Yep. That was
You
hysterical.
guys drove how long to go look at that piece of shit?
We drove from Springfield there in his uh in his Wrangler, which was on like 37s and like a bro lift. It was hysterical. And the plan was I was gonna drive it back home from Salem. So I was like, I don't think this is the best idea. Not to mention our exhaust fell off on the way. So Jacob, because this is when he was at the storage
Yep,
units,
yep.
Jacob had to like give us tools to put his exhaust back on because it sounded terrible. It was so funny.
That's hilarious. I think that still cracks me up to this day that you almost bought that thing. Uh,
Dude, imagine if Tessier still had it.
I know
You've been
that'd be
like, wait a
wild.
second.
I
I know
know.
that Jeep.
Yeah. I feel like we would have definitely crossed paths way sooner. I don't know why I wasn't there that day. Usually I'm hanging around with him, or I was. So I guess
Yeah,
because I remember hearing about him like trying to sell it to you guys too. I heard about it, but I never like I wasn't there. I think Dave was there. Was there another person there?
no, it was just
Just
Jacob.
Jacob? Okay. He seems to remember another person, but he must not have been. Um,
I don't know. All I know is I took a piss right in front of the storage unit like office because I
oh.
had to pee so bad, and we were waiting for Jacob for like 30 minutes because he's terrible at
Oh
times.
yeah, oh yeah.
Good times, good
Oh
times.
yeah, yeah. And that Jeep
That's
was a
what.
fucking riot too. I mean, you wouldn't have died taking it back, but it would have been close. Uh, did he give you the whole spiel about how you drove it to Maine, like 4 hours there and back, multiple times?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He
Oh yeah,
gave me
he
that
was
whole
trying to
spiel.
upsell you, like, yeah, this thing's drivable. You can drive it to Maine. I've ridden in that thing. It was not drivable. I don't know how the fuck he did it.
Yeah, he
Um,
also, was like, "Oh, dude, Rocky Mountain Terrain Park is sick. That's where me and like this friend go wheeling. Like, he knows the whole place. He was talking about you."
that's
Yeah.
funny. Oh,
I'm pretty sure he probably showed me pictures of your Jeep at the time too, but I just don't remember.
yeah, that trip was Rocky Mountain Train Park was something else. Uh, every time we went there, it was some different chaos. Always uh, self-inflicted. We did 2 trips in the summer and one in the winter. Uh, the winter one was by far the most memorable. Um, the summer ones were fun for, I mean, it was you know,
Because you guys were able to
just a
take
weekend.
random cars out there and blow them up in the woods.
No, no, no. The winter one is when we brought the Taurus. Brought my Dave's buddy's Ford Taurus up to Rocky Mountain with the explicit
Yeah.
intention of beating it until it died. It's still there. It's the silver one with the number 3 written on. It's probably gone now. It's been driven over so many times. It's still in the same fucking. It died in that spot and it has stayed in that spot. I mean, I think it's been moved around because Jeeps would drive on it and like ATVs and stuff or UTVs, but like that thing was just an absolute riot. He drove it. We were doing it's front wheel drive, so we were just doing donuts in the
Yeah.
thing for the longest time, just having a blast. There was Dave and his buddy were like arguing because he was like, "Well, it's my car. I want to drive it." Like, and he was like, "Well, you sold it back to me," or some bullshit. They were all fighting, but I got to drive it for quite a while while they were bickering about it. And then of course, Dave's buddy gets in behind the wheel of this thing, and there's this big like. Um, Water puddle thing that you in the summer you can drive through it. It's a mud bog essentially, but in the winter it was completely frozen over and it's just this massive like curving ice thing. And he just drives right on out and tries to turn to follow the ice and it don't turn. So he slammed straight into a rock and punctured the radiator like within 10 minutes of getting behind the wheel of the thing.
Oh, come
So I mean,
on.
we knew right then that like it was our time was limited. So I think
It
at
was time
that
to now
at
destroy
that
it.
point Dave had an excuse to take the wheel. So Dave grabbed the thing and was driving it from there on. Um, and basically for the next hour, 2 hours, we just drove it until it didn't drive anymore, and then we popped the hood and shoveled snow onto it until it ran again. Um, he was trying to like take it over the whoops. They've got some like whoops there, and right like before it, it's got a almost like when you go on a ski trail in the summer where there's
Yep.
those like drainage
Oh
trenches.
yeah.
Oh, he
Yeah.
drove straight into one. Airbag
Oh
popped. It
no.
was hilarious. He was fine.
Ouch, though,
Uh,
that does not sound fun.
I don't. He didn't seem like he was hurt. He was fine. Um, pulled it out. It was the radiator was already smashed, so it wasn't the end of the world. And we just continued to drive that car until it would not go anymore. And then, I mean, we still had the Jeeps and stuff too, so we just kind of played with that thing till it stopped running, left it there, and then went around and drove the Jeeps. This is back when my Jeep was on like 33s. Jacob had bald tires, so he couldn't do anything, although he'll claim otherwise. And my buddy Tyler was there as well, so we had like a whole crew, and Dave had his Jeep. And of course, I think we spent 2 days there, and the second day we were wheeling till pretty late, and then I didn't get stuck, but I was in like this awkward spot where I wanted to winch for some fucking reason. I don't even remember. I didn't even need to winch. I think I just fucking drove through it once I nutted up. But Dave wanted to rescue me. So there's
He
this.
wanted to rescue
Oh
you?
yeah, he wanted to rescue me. So he was at there's two ways to get to
Knight
the
in
top of
shining
this.
armor.
Yeah, there's two ways to get to the top of this little like it wasn't even. I guess it was a hill. And there's like a small. It's not a valley, but it's a drop in between these two trails and between the open area. Anybody who's been there could probably tell you what it is or where it is. It's really close to the entrance. Um, and Dave was trying to go up by where that drop off sort of was, and I was sort of on the edge of it too. Like both of those trails converge, and there's this sort of semi-mild like hill downwards. So I was at the top of it. He was at the bottom from the other trail, and he was going up. But that side is like more rocky, and it must have water flowing through it because it was covered in ice. There was like no traction. So somehow, and going down it, we've been going down it all day. We had no issues, but we'd never gone up it. So Dave goes up it and gets himself fucked because he starts like sliding off of the edge, and he can't move because if he moves, then it slides more. He can't get
Oh
out of the driver's
Jesus.
seat because that's the side that's like on the edge. So he got himself stuck, and it's probably like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Like sun was still no, it must have been earlier because the sun was still up. Um, and we were probably out there for 4 hours, winching him sideways to try to get him
Holy
not
shit.
off of that and to not roll the Jeep off the edge, because we had my winch on the front. Because when I as soon as I got in the thing and started like actually driving it, I drove it off of my little like spot that I was
Incident, if
scared
you
of,
will. Yeah.
and I was fine. And my buddy went behind, so we had to winch like snatch block. And this is all with my shitty winch, by the way, which you had to hold with like by hand on the outside. That's like all these
You
little
had to
details
hold the
make the
winch.
story. Yeah, you had to hold the
I remember.
not really a clutch, but it's like the lever. You have to hold the engagement lever in gear, otherwise it would pop
Oh
out.
my God.
So somebody had to hold that. It's the middle of winter in Maine, so the sun went
It's
down
cold.
and it got cold, like really cold, and we're trying to like winch this thing out. We had spotlights at this point. The owner was out there with I don't know if we couldn't get the excavator up there or it wasn't running or something, so we couldn't do that. But he was out helping us at that point, trying to get us off. Dave's buddy's freaking out because he's like, I gotta be home at 9. It's already like way past 9, but it's not happening. Uh, yeah, so we had to like shimmy him back, and then eventually we got to a point where he was close, but we couldn't pull him sideways anymore. He had to like gun it forward, which is sketchy in itself because you have to, uh, then you're potentially putting yourself in a position to slide off. I think we kept the winch
Yep.
lines on him, um, to kind of hold it steady, but the entire thing was sketchy. It was so slick. Uh, and see, that's just, I don't know. That makes winter wheeling seem super fun. Every time I think of like winter wheeling or snow wheeling, I think of that scenario where it's just
Almost dying a few
absolute
times.
frigid, like miserable conditions, but I don't know. There's just something about it. I love the cold. I can't do like hot. Fuck that. I'll sit in the freezing cold forever though. I'm all about that.
Agreed.
It's just
I totally fucking agree.
yeah. So we get back in, and Jacob and a couple guys had been like out. I was working my winch mainly, and I think I switched off with some guy holding the engagement lever for a period, or like told him to get in because he looked frozen. Um, So we get back to the cabin or the lodge, and Jacob's boots have like 3 inches of ice on them, and it was like rounded, like he couldn't stand because there
Oh,
is so much fucking ice on these things. Oh, it was an absolute fucking riot. It's trips like that those are amazing. Rocky Mountain, pretty good time. I haven't been there in forever. I'd love to.
We should go back now that your Jeep's bigger.
It probably would be less fun now that my Jeep's bigger, but I'm definitely down. Like if people want to go, to give it a shot. It's been so long. The guy is super chill. Um, like I said, I haven't seen much of like the upper part of the property. It's like the only time I went was when we were in like little tiny Jeeps, like with
Hmm.
no knowledge of how to wheel. Like going back now would be, I'm sure it would probably be underwhelming, but it does have like a little whoop section. Like it could be kind of neat. There's pictures of like shit just absolutely fucking bombing off of some of the jumps they've got, or like
They have jumps.
not jumps,
Oh,
but like it's a I don't know what the fuck you call them. The
yeah, like whoops.
rolls.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
whoops.
moguls.
It's like
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
much what it
yeah.
is. There's two of them, but they're pretty sizable. Like they're not little. Like you could just hit that at I don't know what speed you need to take off, like 30 and probably get some air, 40 and probably go pretty far. Like
So you can't bring Colin, is what you're saying,
well, you
because he'll
can, but his
destroy his
Jeep will probably
shit.
fall in half because there's no like landing. Like you just hit. So have fun. Um,
That's
that's
funny. I love that.
that's actually so the guy I bought the J20 from has a yellow Cherokee, or sorry, yellow Comanche,
yeah.
and there's a picture on the Rocky Mountain site. I'm pretty sure, maybe not, maybe it's on his site, but I think it might be on the Rocky Mountain site of this thing jumping, of his Comanche jumping that thing, and I saw the aftermath of it. It was not good. The front end was fucked. He was working on that when we bought the J20 from him. So, and Luke could probably chime in because he kind of knows the guy. Um,
Two.
I think he
oh
knows
yeah, Richie
of
does
the
too.
guy, I
Yeah,
thought.
I don't know if they're on the bestest of terms, but I
The
know.
the guy to live with me.
Oh no shit. Yeah,
Wait,
so you
what?
know him pretty well.
He lived at my house for quite a little while. I think it was like the last few months of school or some shit.
Oh shit! So you actually know him? Know him?
Yeah, no, like he used to sleep less than 5 feet from me.
That's pretty wild. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
small
I
world.
saying that when Graham bought the J truck, but no one really.
He wasn't here for that episode, you know. Graham wasn't here
Yeah, I wasn't there for that one.
there.
But yeah, that's story time. I just talked for about 50 minutes. Anybody else have anything to add? Any stories? Since we don't really have any real content to talk about, we got no tech really. And I guess I talked about the
So
YJ, but
I could talk about the makeshift rally that me and a few friends put on. That was pretty fun. So a buddy of mine lived out in the boonies of Massachusetts, western side of the state, and he had a Volkswagen Jetta that he bought for dirt cheap. I mean, like $200 dirt cheap. And we used to slam this thing around his property because he had a big field that we made like a quad trail on, and he thought it was funny when he would just slam this thing around it, and it was pretty gnarly. There was whoops, there was all sorts of different things. So we came up with the good idea to buy a bunch of these shitbox cars and then race them and like demo derby them, and it was a really really fun time. But I remember one of my buddies got like really bad whiplash because somebody pit maneuvered him, then the other guy behind him didn't see him when he was coming around the corner, and it like all kind of ended there very sadly because we were all having fun except for the guy who now just got fucked up in a head-on collision. um
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
that sounds about right.
beating up shitbox cars is a really good time.
It really doesn't take much to entertain us.
You really don't.
How about you, Richie?
I haven't done shit.
Oh, no, tell the story about when you accidentally launched your Dodge over a median.
Over a snowbank?
No, it was over, remember the curb when you ran out, your brakes went out as you were going off the highway or whatever, and you jumped a curb, I thought.
Yeah, no, I remember now. I remember. Well, no, because there was a time I did actually accidentally fully launch my truck into the air. No, but so what you're talking about, Cody, is my truck was having fucking this thing where it would decide to randomly turn off, and I couldn't get it to turn back on for like a half hour. Like it had to just sit there. And what do you call it? I ended up finding out eventually that it was a series of bad CPS sensors. But I was going down the Route 6 hill in Plymouth towards Route 8. And right
Yep.
at the very top of the hill, fucking the truck turned off. I'm like, fuck. I tried, first thing I tried was put the thing into park while slamming the brake pedal as hard as I could. And all I could hear was this super, super fast clicking
Yeah.
from the parking pin. So I put the truck back down to neutral. I'm like, well, something's going to fucking just snap if I keep doing that.
Neutral.
Oh god.
Oh,
So
God.
I'm sitting there and I'm trying to pump the brakes, but it's not doing anything. I'm just gaining speed, and I got my sister's in the middle seat, and I have Preston in the passenger seat.
So your second sister.
Yeah. we're just flying down the fucking hill. Now, right next to the on ramp for northbound is a parking lot for the park and ride, and thank God it was fucking empty because I hit the corner of the grassy area there at probably 50, 60 miles an hour, and I just launched straight up the fucking grass into the parking lot. I'm fucking just flying through the parking lot. I hop the curb on the far side of the parking lot, go down the little grass hill there, right into the fence that's guarding a transfer station or something like that. Something big and electrical right there.
Well, transfer station is for trash, so
electrical transfer station. I don't know.
I've only ever heard of a transfer station going for trash, so I don't know.
It was something big and electrically involved. I don't know what it is. But Christ, my sister and Preston were fucking screaming the whole way down the hill, and I'm just panicking because no power steering, no power brakes. And then once the truck finally came to a stop, that's when I proceeded to freak the ever living fuck out. I'm like, oh my god, we just almost died.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that story like a year and a half afterwards, and you still had all the emotions from it, and it was very funny to hear it then.
Oh god, yeah. Like it still gets me, man. Just traffic and so many fucking cars, and then I ended up having to sit there for like 3 hours to wait for a tow truck, and 2 of those hours was with a bunch of cops and everything because people were fucking calling it in left and right.
Saying that there's a runaway truck full of children?
Yeah.
That's funny.
So it was a huge shit show. And then I thought you were talking about when I actually jumped my truck.
No, I haven't heard that story.
I just put my 35s onto the truck, and I just reinstalled the front drive shaft. So I finally had 4-wheel drive in the truck with the 35. So I'm fucking Mr. Big Dick Sweeney now. And then, I'm up on a dirt road driving around with a bunch of people. Someone says, hey, I bet I can get to this spot quicker than you if I go on the main road and you go on the dirt road. Because the dirt road wasn't plowed. So I'm like, all right.
That sounds like a recipe for disaster. Can I just start off with that?
Yeah, well, shut up. It looked like from a quick glance that there was only a few inches of snow on the dirt road. I'm like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. Let's fucking go. I hit the dirt road at like 30, 40 miles an hour, and instantly I realized I fucked up because the snow was above my center caps.
Oh god.
But I kept trucking. I made it all the way through. I thought I fucked myself a few times, but I made it all the way to the top of the really fucking tall hill. And I start going down the hill, and I see that the town just made a giant fucking snow pile across the end of the road because they don't plow the dirt road. I'm like, I gotta hit that at like 50 to just fucking blast through the snow because it's all powder. It just snowed. And it's like 10 feet before I fucking hit the snow pile, guys. It dawned on me that it was the snow from the entire winter.
Oh,
that had
god.
Full cycles of melting and freezing.
Oh, no.
So I hit this giant frozen pile of fucking snow at what must have been close to 40, plus or minus a bit. And I did not hit it fucking square at all.
Oh, god.
So the fucking truck just gets completely airborne, and then it starts in rotating. I'm like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. And it comes down so fucking hard on just my front driver's corner. And then I just kind of skidded to an awkward stop, and I just parked the truck. I'm like, okay, I'm fucking done. My buddy that I had with me, he had one of the fucking giant 40-ounce beer cans.
Yeah.
That fucking got all over the truck. I was stone cold sober, and I smelled like I was bathing in beer.
Because you actually were.
My truck's fucked up. I'm going to get pulled over on the way home. I'm going to get fucking a DUI because I smell like a brewery. What the fuck? Truck, surprisingly, was completely drivable. So what ended up happening was, after like 6 or 7 years, I finally blew a rough country shock.
Damn. Front
And
Six
corner.
years to blow a rough country? I feel like that's impossible.
it was 6 years after I put in the rough country shocks in the front.
Maybe that's when they were still selling quality parts.
It must have been because the other side was still fucking good. It was just the one side that I landed on. It completely blew itself apart.
Yeah, well, that's
And then the front axle was fucking U-shaped.
when was that? Was that near the end of its life or more like middle of its life? This truck sounds like it's seen a lot. I know it
Um,
had. I remember it, but I don't remember. I want to know the timeline.
Probably 2 winters before I sold the truck, so like 2.5 years or so before I sold the truck.
Gotcha. So I probably saw it
With
after you
the
jumped
bent
it.
front end.
Did you fix the front end or just leave it bent?
Um, no, I took my dad's fucking snap-on impact from like the 80s and just sat there ooga dooging it until I got tired.
For the
The,
axle?
the, the
To do what were you looking to unbend?
What are you unbending with a snap-on
Y-
impact?
sorry,
Yeah.
I did not explain myself.
Yeah,
So
no.
so overall the axle still functioned normally, but over time I noticed that my front diff started getting really sloppy. So my solution to that was to just tighten the ever living fuck out of the pinion nut.
Oh,
Oh,
fuck.
I
So
see. I
you
see.
crushed the crush washer till it was now just a normal washer.
Exactly. Sorry, I really should have stated that.
Yeah, no, that was very confusing.
It's like I bent my axle, so I took the impact gun till it didn't impact anymore. Ooh.
Yeah, no, that's what I did, and then like 2 days later, I sold the truck because
Well,
it was right. It was just before I decided to get rid of my truck that I picked up a set of Dodge 1 tons for the truck because the Dodge 1 tons were a direct bolt-in option to get 1 ton axles underneath the truck because it was just a
Yeah,
fifth.
but they're Dodge 1 ton, so they're still kind of junky,
yeah, but it's
even though
going
they're
under a
1 tons.
Dodge, so it's fine. It's just bolt
It,
in.
Dodge 1 tons are not the best 1 tons to use, but they were zero fabrication to put them under the truck.
Legitimately bolt-in axles. Bolt-in
Yeah,
1 tons, one might say.
all the spring perches and all the leaf perches all lined up, control arms all lined up. So it was just on bolt, get some new hardware, throw the shit in.
Yeah, can't beat that.
I'm impressed. I didn't even know any of that, so that's pretty cool to know.
Yeah, Luke's the one that taught me that.
That makes sense. The body style was
I,
the same.
I do feel bad for the chick that bought the truck.
Did you sell it to a woman that was like trying to daily it or some shit?
Maybe.
You know,
Oh my god, you were fucking
it's
terrible.
funny you mentioned that because there was the person who bought my GMC, literally like same thing. It was just this high school girl like
Oh, poor thing.
who wanted a truck. And I was like, well, here's a cheap truck. Like if you want it, that's up to you. Like I'm not going to make you buy it because
Well,
I,
that's the thing is this chick hit me up. She set up a time to check out the truck. She fucking test drove the truck and everything. And then she was like, "Yeah, I really like it. I'd like my buddy to check it out because he does mechanic work on the side." I'm like, "If you want." He checks the truck out. He drives it. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's great." I'm like, "All right." So I
This guy's retarded.
highly suggest um getting a new front axle. I'll even give you these axles. I didn't tell him it was 1 ton axles. I was like, "Yeah, take them." Just that way I didn't have to fucking deal with them myself. and the chick gave me full asking price, like did not talk me down or nothing,
Damn.
and just
Wow.
drove off into the sunset.
Sounds like a dream with a second gen Dodge.
No, it's a nightmare. I really miss that truck.
I never wake up from a nightmare thinking, wow, I'm sad that I just woke up. So masochism, I guess. I guess I'm just not into it enough. I don't
Damn
know.
it! I was having a horrible time. I wish I was still fucking asleep.
Yeah.
I I really miss that truck.
God, I hate being happy. This sucks.
No, no. So with all the fucking problems I had with that truck, it never once let me down.
No, it just jumped you over a wall, over a snowbank. I mean, you drove it home after, not the tow truck one, but
No, so there was quite a few times where I had to tow the truck home, but it's like every time like I needed to get somewhere or like some shit was hitting the fan and I had to go do stuff, it always got me going. It always worked for me.
Until it didn't.
Yeah, but I mean the times it didn't versus the times it did, fucking there's no comparison. Plus the fact that, it was my first vehicle, fucking I did all kinds of side work with it, and then I started driving it into trees and shit. And I'm like, no, I can't do that. I gotta start fixing it up. And then I'm like, nope, fucking back into the trees.
oh my God.
Like the truck went to the top of Ma Bell.
Wow, back when Ma Bell was tiny, tiny.
I mean, it was a year and a half before or maybe a year before I went up to Ma Bell for the first time in my Jeep with the club.
Huh.
Okay, so not that small, but I mean, like, even as I've been going there, Ma Bell has been changing.
No, yeah.
Oh yeah, like I'm not arguing that, but I'm not saying it was like 5 years ago. I'm like it was 3 years ago, I think.
No, you've been with the club longer than that.
No,
I've been with the club for like 4 years, and I've done use from the club.
I've only
We
been
were a
with the,
prospect at the same time. What do you mean, Richie?
I've only been with the club for 3 years. 2019.
Nah, weird.
Yeah.
It's been like 2018 for me.
No, you started with the club to go topless day before I did.
Yeah, I think Richie was like new of it, but I don't think he actually joined till later because he didn't have a Jeep.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
I,
rode with
I, I
Luke.
I'd gone out with Luke once or twice in 2018 with the club, but I wasn't a member of the club or even prospecting until the end of 2019.
weird. I didn't know that.
It was like August
You
or,
were in a backyard again then.
but it was like
Backyardigans.
2018. I I brought my truck all the way to the top of Ma Bell. That
Wow,
was
I
a
never
good
knew
trip.
that.
Yeah, I still got pictures somewhere. I can send them to you later. I even took some sexy poses on the truck.
You can save those. I don't need those. Appreciate the offer though.
It was Morgan's idea, okay?
Sounds about right.
Morgan was very upset with Jess that she did not want to go. So she was like, "You're going to take sexy pictures on the truck and send them to Jess to make her feel bad." I'm like, "Yes, ma'am."
See, this is why, Graham, as your photographer, I will never ask you to take sexy pictures. Just throwing it out there. Those will not become your profile pictures.
Thank you. Appreciated.
Hey,
All right, we have divulged it to
if you
sexy
got it, you
pictures.
flaunt it. That's all I can say.
Does anybody else have anything to add before this gets worse?
No, I think I'm
No,
good. I think good
sexy
shorty.
pictures was
Hopefully we'll
enough.
be back to normal next week. And have some more stuff to talk about. I know hopefully Luke will be a little less busy. I know he's been dealing with some bullshit on his Jeep and just a bunch of stuff that I'm sure he'll want to he'll want to talk about. Although he does a lot of complaining nowadays, not a lot of fucking fixing. He'll call me up and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna fix my cross member. It's breaking off." I was like, "Well,
He
put a better
he
cross member on it."
allegedly took care of his T case tonight.
Yeah, I heard about
Oh.
that.
Well, we'll hear from him when the time comes then, when he feels like actually joining us on a podcast instead of abandoning us like
Oh,
our
don't
dad
word
did
it
back
like
in.
that. He had work.
No, he did it. He was working on the Jeep.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, it's justifiable
Yeah.
too. I've done that.
To be
Uh,
fair, I think Luke has the best attendance record, so
Maybe.
I'll cut
Maybe.
him some slack.
Yeah, he probably does. I definitely don't. And you guys have both missed some here and there.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for listening. We appreciate every single one of you. We do apologize for missing the last week's episode. Again, we're very, very sorry to Sam and the Laser Daddy, if you will. We do apologize. We will have another episode with them, whether it be individually or whether it be that we'll have both of them on. So stay tuned for that. And thank you guys so much for listening. And please stay tuned for the next one.